you know this better than anybody. Each person's an individual, but I'll try to break it down, even though I'll break it down a little bit like a fraction. The first thing I do with a client is, I want to get to the causes and conditions of what made them feel the way they feel, think the way they think. So you said the causes and conditions yourself, from childhood, from trauma, from mom, from dad, from high school, from the first girlfriend, the first boyfriend, the first drink, the first drug, the first kiss, the first broken heart. Where do these ideas come from? Where are these coming from? And we take a look at it and we stare it down. One of the things that I do personally, because I spend a lot of one-on-one time with my clients, is, for me, it works beautifully, is I let them see through me. What happens is they hire me, hire you, and they don't mean to, because I'm the same way, but they automatically elevate. Maybe like, oh, Adam's here and I'm trying to get up here. I'm trying to get up to Adam's level. And what I finally do is I explain to them that's not it at all. It's actually like a road. It's a road. I'm not higher than you. I'm down the road. And I know where all the pitfalls are, where you should make a left, where you should make a right, make a U-turn over there. I'm not higher than you. I'm your equal. And I let them know all of my faults, all of my character defects, all the things that happened to me, all of my triggers, all of my traumas. And now we have this bond. Now my client and I have this bond, because what they're realizing is I'm not this elevated human being trying to raise them up to my level. I am them down the road saying, whoa, 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 stop, make a left. Trust me, I understand. Just shut up. Come. Whoa, make a right. And it builds, and what they start realizing, these were just false ideas that I had. And I'm not the only person to have these feelings, and I'm not the only person to have these experiences, and I'm not these. And look, if we need to go further down the road, meaning they need to go to therapy, they need to go to hypnosis, they need to go speak to a preacher, or maybe go to confession. All of those things are on the table. All of those things are on the table to have them feel free. But many times it's the work we do. It's just the work we do.
It's so amazing. And how did you figure out, or how do you help people? And you've done it yourself. I always like to say, people don't want to be told what to do. They want to have you show them how you did it. And I think that's part of what comes from being the chief encouragement officer in many people's lives for you. How did you move, obviously the family business took its path, and you decided to write some new chapters on the pages of your life. Where did how did the inspiration and the motivation to change what you did for a living and get into this space, where did that come from?
Well, Charlie, I was always in love with helping people. And what happened was, it was time to actually sell the family business. It was not, I didn't leave it. I didn't jump from it. It felt like this momentum, this shift, that something was going on. And it was, I had done talks, and I had done this, and I had done that, but everything was always behind the scenes, very, very below the radar. And this was time for me to launch my own career, to be myself. And I was able to take my 15 years of recovery and my 23 years of running a lace industry, and my years in fitness, and my experience in therapy. And I got the education, and I got the licenses, and I got the certifications, because I didn't want to. The last thing I want to do is start helping people and be a fraud and be like, "Why just make up my own?" I want to learn and grow and expand. And I don't believe in the word luck. I just don't. It's my own personal thing, but there is something about divine timing. And Charlie, I hit a wave. I just hit a magical wave, and I got up on that surfboard and I rode it. And it came with some pain. It came with some difficult choices. It was very, very hard for me in the beginning to talk about who I am and my recovery so out loud, because I had been trained to keep it. I had been trained to be Clark Kent.
Yeah, there's a, well, I mean, look, you, myself, I think many others, there is a stigma, there just is a stigma around. I don't know who the guy in the brown, I don't know who the guy in the trench coat with the brown paper bag is, but he gets a lot of play when it comes to alcoholism. And unfortunately, there are that level of alcoholics and drug addicts, and that's one kind of picture of an alcoholic, but it's not the only picture of an alcoholic and a drug addict. And it's a mental illness, and it's a disease of the brain, and again, I'm not here from the Mayo Clinic or Harvard. I'm here from my own experience of what plagued me, which was an allergy in my body and an obsession in my mind, and it's centered in my mind. I knew that. But there is a lot of stigma. You think alcoholic, you think someone's going to steal the till, you think someone's going to always be that way. And people would say, I just can't, I don't like that you have to always identify as an alcoholic. And I said, well, you make it sound like it's a bad thing. I mean,
Right.
for me, that's like saying, oh, I'm a diabetic, or I have arterial sclerosis, or, I have whatever, issue you have, or whatever issue that you've brought to this world that you're dealing with. It's, to me, it's not a negative. It's now, if I was an alcoholic that wasn't in recovery, and I was continuing to drink and use, then I would be a burden on myself, my family, and society. And that wouldn't be, a great thing. I would have to live that life. But I think to be a recovering alcoholic is one of the greatest gifts that I ever gave myself. So that's just, I think what comes with the stigma.
I'm cut from your exact cloth. I'm extremely proud of it. I'm extreme. The label is not something that I hear derogatory at all. It's but again, because you and I are on the other side of it, and I feel like it's the thing that makes me relate to my common man more than anything.
But like,
Is
one of the things that, what a great conversation, by the way. I think one of the things everybody needs to understand, I don't care if you are, Steve Young gave a talk at Stanford University in front of a group of students. And one of the questions that came out is, what do you attribute your success to, as a world-class, world champion, Pro Bowl, Hall of Fame, NFL quarterback? He goes, oh, because I'm a lawyer. They looked at him like, what do you mean? He goes, because that's just what I did. It's not who I am. There's not one part of my life that defines me. I'm a father, I'm a fiance, I'm a friend, I'm a, I have lots of different roles. If you were to look at, the me wheel, I have a lot of different roles, and none of them define me. They're all just parts of my life. And I won't ever pay privilege to any one of those aspects. Alcoholic, friend, father, employer, any of them. I mean, they all are part of who I am, and I don't deny any of them, and I don't pay too much privilege to any of them.
I love that. I heard somebody once say, I'm an alcoholic. He was introducing himself that he was an alcoholic, and then it was a fact. It's not something that he's proud of nor ashamed of. And I thought,
Love it.
Yeah, it was just very clear cut, black and white.
What was the, and I look back at people's overcome stories, I try to find, those nuggets, and I just wonder, because we speak often to people who, are in that often may feel in a dark place. A lot of people have started to, and a lot of our audience, is kind of in that kind of jumping off spot, or just in their life feeling stuck, and want to overcome sometimes not even a situation, but just a feeling. And so, as you sit in a dark place and you get to that point where your life, in whatever fashion you can describe, isn't where you would like it to be, what's the Adam Jablin, kind of top 2 recipes of starting any kind of change for people, as I know you're as skilled at this as anybody. And I think people that listen want, to have some actual items that they can take to help them feel unstuck. What are kind of the top 2 things in your overcome story that you relate to kind of maintaining and enjoying the freedoms you have today?
Yeah. So I would have to say, if you're at that place, because, and these are for me, because it was so contrary to who I am, to what I wanted to do. The first thing is to share it with another person you can trust.
Wow.
When we share it, we cut it in half. Now, I would love to say, trust me, my brain was telling me to say, because I knew it would have more substance. Well, move a muscle, change a thought. but it's too easy. It's too much of a cliche. And honestly, I was somebody that can move a muscle and train all day and still drink and take pills and so that recipe works at certain times. The first thing I would say is share it. Share it with someone you can trust. Because now, if I share with Charlie what's really going on with me, what's happening in my life, the pains I'm going through, the places I'm stuck, now Charlie's carrying the canoe with me. Now he's helping me. And Charlie has his own life experiences, be it, with women or with relationships or with children, or that he could pass on some nuggets to me that can actually empower me to take a step forward. And I am the guy that wants to smile, wink at you, point, and not tell you shit about me, right? I want you to think I'm doing great while inside I'm dying. So the first thing for me that I would tell anybody is to share it. Share it with another person.
So if I was, I don't know, Richard Dawson, Steve Harvey, whoever's hosted Family Feud, and I could do that, Heather, survey says, bing, 35 episodes into Overcome Out Loud, guests from George Mumford to Mike Diamond to, Jude Weber to Chris Thomas to, you line West Gear, you line them up. Number one answer, ask for help. Let somebody know what's going on. Every single person who's had to overcome anything in their life has all suggested, like Adam Jablin, do not go alone. Thank you for that one.
Don't go alone, my man.
Yeah, man. Awesome.
And this, the second one is, I think number one is so important that I think, believe it or not, number two is kind of like, it's interchangeable. As long as number one is there, you could do maybe like journaling and automatic writing, because you'll see some things about yourself. You could do some spiritual readings to enhance the mind. There's move a muscle, change a thought. There's a lot of things that I could put at number two, because number one is so freaking important. Number one is the, that sharing with another person and asking for help and being open. Like Charlie, if I ask you, hey, I'm going through a divorce and I could really use, can you tell me what you experienced? I have a moment there where a lot of people like me like to go, okay, I asked the question, now I'm shutting the window and whatever. Just keep that window open.
Yeah.
Listen to the feedback. Don't act like you know everything. Just take it in.